Now let's bring in Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger of Virginia. She won re-election to Virginia's 7th congressional district last week.
Congratulations. How did the final vote tally turn out? And what would you suggest was the reason for it being perhaps closer than you'd like?
Well, so the vote tally ended up being just under 2 points, and we have tremendous turnout in our district. So that just under 2-point amount, about 1.7. There's a few more provisional ballots coming in today, but I won by just about 8,000 votes. But in a high turnout election, that's right now about 1.7 points. And, you know, this is a district that the current president, future former president, won by almost 7 points back in 2016. I'm the first Democrat elected in this district since 1968. And in our district, I focus a lot on explaining the policies that I support, Democratic policies focused on strengthening our healthcare system, focused on addressing global climate change, focus on criminal justice and equity issues. And of course, at this time, focused on getting this virus under control and restoring strength to our economy. And in our district, a district like mine, where people aren't historically used to voting for a Democrat, there's a lot of explaining that I do every single day to talk through what our policies are, what our priorities are, and why people should change their voting practice, why I will be good for their family, their farm, their community, and our country. And I think that there's been some challenges. Go ahead, Rika.
Well, actually, I think you were getting right into that. You had some tough words for your caucus, and I'm just wondering, you see it on the local level and talking to your constituents, to the people who voted for you, to the people who voted against you. What does the party overall need to do to try not to lose so much in the future and to still retain the core, the essence of what the party is about?
Well, I would start by saying that I disagree, actually, with the characterization from that Washington Post headline. This isn't about blaming anyone. This is about understanding how when we went into the election on November 3rd, there were Democrats across the country, and we heard it on the news media. We saw it in the polls. Democrats are going to win, hold the House, win seats, win the Senate, win the presidency. And while, my goodness, I am so excited that Joe Biden is the president-elect and Kamala Harris is the vice president-elect, not only did we not win the Senate, but we lost House seats that we shouldn't have lost, in my opinion. Great members who were focused on the issues that matter to people and had voted on issues that matter to people. And what I expressed to my colleagues is this is a place where we need to do an after-action report about how we thought what would happen was so different from, in fact, what did happen. And where is it? Where are the areas of opportunity where there were some 70 million Americans who didn't think that our Democratic policies would impact them, that our Democratic policies would be good for them. And in fact, in some cases, might have made them wary of what our policies are because of slogans that don't actually spell out what we're for. And what I said on that call, when it comes to racial equity and justice and reforms in policing, we have voted on an incredibly good bill, the George Floyd Justice and Policing bill. Every single Democrat voted for it, as well as Republicans in the House of Representatives. And that bill lays clear we want to make investments in policing and in training, that we want to reform qualified immunity, that we want to ban no-knock warrants, which, in my Central Virginia district is in fact already the policy for some of our largest police forces. We have specific policies that we've been for, and it got lost in some of the slogans that we heard across the country. And my argument to my colleagues is we need to be far clearer in what we're for so that people know what they're voting for. And that any sort of doubt, and to be clear, attacks are going to be lobbed against us, of course, all the time. But the more people can say, I know what those folks are for, the more those attacks will just roll off their backs.
Donnie Deutsch is with us and has a question. Donnie.
Congresswoman, I think, and you've been obviously a proponent of this, that Biden's got to govern to the center. I'm going to say something that's blasphemous on this network. I might not be invited back again. Is it not such a terrible thing if the Republicans hold on to the Senate and that the country kind of and you've got obviously McConnell and Biden who kind of are forced to kind of work towards the middle together, maybe that wouldn't be such a horrible thing?
Well, I'll say this. I support coalition building within our united Democratic Party, a vibrant, diverse Big Tent party, coalition building across party lines. And what we've seen is that in the 116th Congress, we have passed bipartisan legislation on everything from common sense gun reforms to creating a stability and a pathway for dreamers to stay in this country, to raising the minimum wage, passed with bipartisan support and didn't go anywhere in the United States Senate. So my hope is that Mitch McConnell, Senate Leader McConnell, might be more inclined to move things forward, knowing that there's a President Biden in the White House. But I don't know that it's up to him to choose to change what has thus far been more of an obstructionist way of leading the United States Senate. Because in the House, our body of work in the 116th Congress has been building broad coalition, again, across a diverse Democratic Party and across party lines. Things like the Equality Act that we passed with bipartisan support, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act we passed with bipartisan support, hundreds of bills with bipartisan support. So I think that question is probably more correctly asked to Leader McConnell, whether or not he wants to come to the table and join the coalition that we've built around some of these priority issues for the American people.
Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger, representing Virginia's 7th District. Thank you very, very much for being on this morning.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.